welcome back to Cooking with Grandmommy. Hope you all enjoyed a fun and delicious Easter, not only from all the good candy and stuff, but also from the delicious food that you made. I hope maybe some of the recipes we shared were easy enough and yummy enough that you gave them a try. So remember, it's Grandmommy's house where food is all about love and everybody's welcome. So today we're going to bake a cake, and it's one of those dump everything in one bowl kind of cakes, and it's got some cinnamon and it's beautiful and tasty, and then we're going to put a warm frosting on the top and put it under the broiler, so it's a nice gooey yummy cake. So to get started, I have here in my mixing bowl, I put in 1 cup of oatmeal and 1 1/4 cups of hot water, and you let that sit for 10 minutes before you add all your other ingredients. So I'm going to put 2 eggs in here. Then I have 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of white sugar, 1 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to pour that in. And to spice it up, I have my cinnamon, but then this cake has 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, plus a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You don't always see a lot of recipes with the baking soda and the baking powder together, but this one has it in. This is a very old recipe. So I'll pour that in. And then I have melted 1 stick of my favorite food, butter, and we're going to pour that in. So you pour everything in at once. Put it up on the mixer. Put in my paddle attachment. And we're going to mix this for 2 minutes. Put your earplugs in. Here we go. Flour shower. Right? Our 2 minutes is up. And it's smelling good. Can you smell that cinnamon? That's a wonderful spice. Makes the room smell good. Have a few wallflowers with cinnamon too. Left over from the holidays, but I still like the aroma, so I use them. So I'll take my paddle out of there. I have my 9x12 already sprayed, so pour the batter in. Adding the oatmeal and soaking it in the water just makes this cake super moist. Alright, let's even up our dough a little bit there. I have my oven set on 375. I'm going to put it in for 30 minutes. It could bake up to 45 minutes. At 30 minutes, you want to take your toothpick and check the center and make sure that it's done. And if not, add 5 minutes and check it again. So let's get this going in the oven. And pretty soon the house is going to smell really good. All right, let's check on that cake and see if it's ready to come out of the oven. Grab an oven mitten and a toothpick and do our check. Right in the center, nice and clean. Our cake is ready. Let's take it out. Smelling great, nice and cinnamony, nice and brown. All right, so the cake is finished. Now we're going to work on the topping. In this bowl, in this pan, I have 3/4 cup of brown sugar and 6 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cream. And 1 tablespoon of vanilla. gonna let this cook for just a minute or two. Can you just taste how caramely this will be with the butter and the brown sugar and the cream? Already looking so good. Can you see all that bubbly goodness in there? So I'm gonna let that cook just a couple minutes. We want to put this on our cake while it's still warm. Once this has reached the right texture, a little bit of thickness, I'm going to add a cup of coconut and 1 cup of pecans. Now, if you want to make it without nuts or coconut, depending on what your family likes, you can leave that out. And if you like walnuts instead of pecans, you can use those. You could use just the coconut or just the nuts. Remember, it's written in a recipe, but it's your family who's eating it, so you can make it just the way they like it. All right, so this is nice. It's thick on the top and very bubbly, and that's how you want it to look. So it's getting some body to it. It's not real thin like the butter was at the beginning, but it's thickened up just a little bit. So now I've got a cup of coconut and a cup of pecans. Stir that in. I have the broiler over on the oven warming up. Once the topping goes on the cake, we're going to put it under the broiler. It's going to get just a little bit of crunch to it under there. All right, so let's spread this on our cake. Is your mouth watering? So just spread it loosely around here, all over the top. All right. See how it looks? And now we're going to put it under the broiler and let it brown just a little bit. Skipped a little corner here. Let me fill that up. We don't want anybody to get a piece without frosting, right? Put it in for 3 or 4 minutes. And while that is broiling, let me share with you my very first cookbook. I started writing favorite recipes in here. Tried to write my mother's biscuit recipe. That was one of those I had to follow her around and write things down behind her, measure behind her. She used a big flour bowl and she would just work a well in the middle, she called it, and add ingredients. I couldn't do it that way, so I had to measure. But this book I started in 1968. Pansy Masingo, my maiden name. So I would have been a sophomore in high school, and I started writing down my recipes. So this oatmeal cake recipe is one of my oldest recipes. And you can see this book is getting quite worn. These recipes have been made a lot. Everything from cakes to pies to how to can green beans, just things that you learn along the way. So I hope you've started a collection of recipes that you like and that you're keeping track so you can make them for your family. All right, I'm gonna go over and check on our frosting. All right, let's see how the frosting is coming under this broiler. Oh, it looks perfect. All bubbly, and now it's going to have just a little bit of crunch to it when it cools off and we cut into this yummy oatmeal cake. Cake is finished. Give it a try. So thank you for joining us again this week. Hope you enjoy the cake recipe. Remember, jump over on Instagram to get that written recipe down and give it a try. Let me know if your family enjoys it as much as mine. Thanks for being with Grandmommy today. See you next time.